Hey, what's up? So, I just wanted to give some of my thoughts on the Galaxy Watch Ultra. I've had it for about a week so far. I went from the Garmin Venu 3 to this. Actually, I went from long story because I'm going to get into a little bit of like this watch versus some of the other watches that I've had. But I went from the Garmin Venu 3. Before that, I had the Galaxy Watch 6. Before that, I had the Apple Watch 8. And in between me having the Venu and the Galaxy Watch, I had a Garmin. It was like a 945. I actually still have it. Got it from my friend for free. And it made me want to get a Garmin, but I missed all the tech features. So I'm just going to talk to you about a little bit of my experience and if this is a good fit for you. So let's go ahead and talk about the battery life. On this watch, I work out like every other day, I guess you could say. I like to run a lot. So today, last night I ran a 5K for practice. I charged it. It was on full charge, I think around 12 p.m. Then I ran around maybe 7 p.m. And today, this is my, sorry, let me get to my battery life here. Yeah, this is where my battery is. That's probably the most I've pushed this as far as a workout, like using the GPS and all that stuff. And I have about 57%. I went through the night. I use the sleep features. I use skin temperature. I do not use the oxygen level stuff, the blood oxygen stuff, because I don't feel it's useful for me. But typically, I get about 3 or more days out of this watch. If I'm not working out too much, I think even if I was just to stretch this battery that I have now, I could probably get through the night and then get through another night and have to charge it the next day. I'm pretty confident I can probably get 2 more days out of this battery. I'm gonna have a couple rest days in between my workouts. So the battery's pretty good for me. Again, like I said, I usually get about 3 days, and that's good enough for me. I actually like it. Um, as you can see, here was my workout. I did a 5K run, which was cool. I'm into running, trying to get my pace up. I want to do a 5K race soon. But as you can see here, I mean, if you go down, it does do GPS tracking, which I shouldn't be showing y'all this, but it does GPS tracking, and I had a good run last night, and I'm okay with the battery. And this is a guy coming from a Garmin that could last a week. The reason why I didn't want to keep the Garmin is because, listen, y'all, the smart features are just not there. That watch was supposed to have voice command. It had a cheap voice command feature. It was supposed to be more of like a smart watch, and it just wasn't. I just couldn't roll with it. And I wanted something that had all the best tech, but at the same time could last at least a couple days, because I got tired of charging my Watch 6 every 2 days. And this one can give me about 3 to 4 days, so that's really good. As you can see, my stress is up because I've been at work. But getting to the next thing, the size and the feel. As you can see, I'm testing out this new band. I actually like the original band a lot better. Look at that. There's the original band. I mean, it does seem on the advertisements like it's just huge and big, and it is big. Don't get me wrong. But I'm getting used to it. I actually like the size. The screen, man, I don't want to get too quickly into the software, but just know that the feel it's okay. My wrist, I don't know if I have the biggest wrist or not, but it's good for me. I'm 6'5". I'm about 240, 247 or so. I'm 6 foot, about 247. My wrist, there's my wrist. I don't know what to say to that. I haven't measured my wrist. But, it's a pretty good feel to it. It's not what it looks like. It's actually quite comfortable sometimes. It's just bulky. You're going to notice the bulk. It's just going to be there. But yeah, I got mine for $450. I actually bought mine for $450 at Best Buy. I got it open box, and it's been great so far. The look, I like the look, actually. The look feels premium, man. I mean, I've had a couple watches. This is a premium look. This is not a cheap looking watch, okay? I have not tried the speaker actually, because I don't use Spotify and I don't know if it works with YouTube Music. I typically don't keep Spotify. I use Apple Music for the quality, that all that better, all that better quality of sound coming out the headphones. So that's my opinion on the look. I think it's very quality. It's really good. I'm okay with it. Okay. All right. Getting into some of the features of the health features. I mean, it's decent, man. Garmin kind of puts everything out there for you, which is a great thing. This watch, you you got to kind of dig to find what you want. Like, it has all the cadence stuff and the elevation. This thing has an altimeter, barometer, however you say it, on it. Like, I try to keep it there at the bottom. I guess that's just like some of the pressure from the altitude. And the features are there. You just got to dig into the Samsung Health app. It's not going to be as concise and pretty as Garmin. Garmin does a great job of laying out the data that you want. But for me, I'm a runner. I've been running for like a year straight, and it's good enough for me. It gets me what I need. I'm really concerned about my pace. I'm concerned about, my heart rate. And this thing, I mean, it's great. I mean, I don't know. So I had the Garmin watch it had the 5th generation sensor in it. And I felt it was very accurate because it seemed like it caught the drops and the pickups, like the in-betweens. And I haven't tested this watch enough to know, like with weightlifting and things like that, if it's actually picking up an accurate assessment of the dips and the changes, the subtle changes of my heart rate when I'm working out. So, there's that, of course. It's got these side buttons. You can reprogram them. If you double tap the top button, I got it to where it'll open up my most recent apps. You hold this button down here. I forgot what this actually does. Okay, it shows my credit card stuff. I like to use Android Pay and Samsung Pay, which works great. I'm getting used to it. Just got to learn it and figure out where to put my watch on the credit card sensors. And this top button, if I hold this, it'll do the Google. That's another thing that Venu 3 Garmin couldn't do for me. I love to use Google to text my wife, to call my wife, to ask for the weather, just little different questions I have on the fly when I don't have my phone. This watch, it works on Wi-Fi, so it's flawless. That's all I can say. It's flawless, man. As far as that. Of course, this middle button, if you just tap it once, it'll open up workouts, and I have my workouts the way I like. I can go here. If I go to this one, you can go to the settings, and I've changed a few of these settings. I like to have my split at a half mile now for now, and my heart rate zone talk to alert me where I'm at in my heart rate zones. I got it on zone 3. You could change this to where you could lay it out. I want as much information as possible on my data screen. So, location detected. It's trying to pick up the GPS, y'all. Watch out. All right. So, the features are great for me. I'm a runner. Like I said, I went from a Garmin to this. Garmin is great. They're awesome. But this is just a better technological device. It's a smartwatch. It has all those features that Garmin just doesn't have. A lot of Garmin watches. Now, my Venu did have to where I could take phone calls from my wrist, and it did have text messaging, but it's not like this. There's no swipe text. There's no real keyboard. You got to use this weird looking phone number keyboard. And this is just, it's just a step up in technology. When you get a certain thing, you don't want to go backwards, okay? You want to go forward. So there's that. As far as this versus some of the other watches that I've had, the Watch 6 was great. The Watch 6 is not as fast as this processor. There'll be a little lag in between going through different things. Going from, like, for example, when you go here and you using the bezel, this is a lot snappier, okay? It's going to be a lot faster. It has a better processor. The Watch 6 was great, though. It did everything I needed to do. It just didn't last long enough for me. That was my issue. That's why I started looking around when I got teased with the Garmin. And the Garmin opened me up to spending a little money to get something with better battery. Okay. But the Apple Watch, I had an Apple Watch 8. It was great, it's just the battery life. Apple Watches are the most accurate, but Apple Watches do not have continuous heart rate. They will not measure your heart rate all day like these watches will. And it only lasts a half a day almost when you're really using an Apple Watch. You got to charge it every day unless you get that Ultra. And then I've heard that this watch actually has a better battery than the Apple Watch Ultra. So, it just depends on which ecosystem you're in. I have a Galaxy S24 Ultra. Works fine with this. Watch faces, my favorite watch faces is this one here and this one here. I just switch in between these two. I care about my heart rate. And when I'm not looking at my heart rate, I want to quickly see my last workout. And as you can see, I ran 3.36 miles. And it did good. It has my pace, does everything I need. This is my favorite watch face right here for now. I change the colors every now and then. But I've designed some old ones. This one was on my watch 6. This one's pretty cool, actually. The default one of this was really cool when I first got this watch. It was on here. That's just not my style. I have fears that all that stuff will slow my battery down. So I try to, keep it simple. My wishes for this phone, if there's anything that I would want to criticize, it's a bit bulky, y'all. It's comfortable. It's not as what you think, but it is bulky, okay? You'll feel it when you're laying down going to sleep. You're doing your sleep tracking. I wear mine to sleep. As you can see here, if I rotate to my sleep tracking, where you at sleep tracking? Yeah. So if I go to my sleep tracking, I wear it to sleep. And it does a good job. But you'll feel it. You just got to get used to it. It's not bad, man. It's not bad at all. It's just you got to get used to the size of it. Another thing, battery life. As bulky as this thing is, I wish it would last a week. Where you charge it and just don't think about charging it. My Garmin had me to where it's like, it'll have you like where you wish you could charge it. Because you're so used to charging all your devices, you're like, man, I want to just charge it. But it doesn't need it. That Garmin watch would last me a week, fine. But this watch will last me about 3 to 4 days, which I'm good with. I can rock with this. And I'm probably going to keep this watch. I could take it back within the next week if I want to Best Buy. They have that 15-day test to see if you like it type thing. Like I said, I had the Garmin Venu 3. I didn't like it. I didn't feel like after paying $400 something, and I can't even use voice command as advertised, and it's the screen is not as crystal clear as and with the resolution as this watch is. It's gonna feel a little. The watch faces feel cheap. It's just the resolution's not there compared to this watch, so I had to take it back. I can't think of anything else that I would want to change about this watch. Maybe some more buttons on this side, I don't care for the rotating bezel. I never really got into that. But I feel like this watch does everything I need it to do. So with that being said, that's my thoughts on the Galaxy Watch Ultra. Thank y'all for watching.